Day of October 2023, and we are delighted to be counted amongst the living today. Thank you so much for always waking up with us on Good Morning Anambra Show. My name is Nonye Nwokoye.
And I'm Geraldine James.
Okay, we begin the show with the press review. Do join us. All right, you're welcome to the press review. On press review, as you know, it's a time we take a look at some of our national dailies and, of course, stories making their headlines on ABS website. This morning, we've been joined by two gentlemen, Imandi Ezenago, a public affairs analyst, and Arinze Anyebunam, also a public affairs analyst. Welcome to the studios of Good Morning Anambra, gentlemen.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you for bringing this man to.
All right. Let's begin with looking at stories making their headlines on ABS website. Anambra State Assembly calls for measures to tackle building collapse. Work in progress at Isiago Junction, Ukwoji End Road Project. Soludo restates ban on cash collection on taxes. And Federal Ministry of Women Affairs intensifies campaign on ending violence against children. All right, a lot of stories there. I don't know, Ezenago, are you starting? Which of the stories of your interest?
Let me start with the first two. Anambra State Assembly calls for measures to tackle building collapse. Okay. You know, one of the things that causes building collapse is using non-tested good materials. And at the end of the day, there is loss of life, there is threat to health, there is loss of property, and which brings, should I say, hardship.
You know the three people that died in Newe were buried there, I think a few days ago?
Yes, yeah. That is it. So I believe that the state government, in collaboration with building, those in charge of planning and building, and also those, you know, all these building materials are being, their durability, their quality are being tested before they are being sent to the market for the final people to purchase. So the people that are in charge of this testing, these building materials, should sit up in doing their duty. And now the state government, in collaboration with those in charge of planning and buildings and all that, should work together with these people in charge of the testing to ensure that we have durable buildings in the state. Because these buildings, I think there was a time that it was said in Anambra State that any building that collapsed, that the government takes over.
And to think that we have professionals there, we have the people that read building technology, we have architects, we have civil engineers,
all that. But you know, all these things, they would like to do it do shabby work just to get the money. And I also want to, despite the fact that there is this, but we want to appreciate, because the rate of this building collapse in Anambra State is not as high compared to other states. It is at low rate, but we want it to come to zero level, where there will be no news of building.
You know, government has a role to play. You see, let me use our state for an instance. You see where government officials go marking buildings and all of that.
For demolition?
If those markings are actually effected on tourism. Okay. You mark, you check, the sophistication of the building. As a matter of fact, I saw a building, let me not be precise, but in Urumba, 2 decades. One of the days I was passing on that building, to the glory of God, people have not really packed in, but it's been finished, no painting yet. And that thing suddenly collapsed without any pressure, without. So and I was wondering, what pushed it? Even though I'm not a building tech person, it's anchored on the fact that the materials are not strong, the foundation is not strong enough to carry the load on it. So if the government, those in the Ministry of Lands, Housing or whatever, truly begins to checkmate.
It seems a lot of things have gone wrong because, at least I know that there are areas, in fact, in planning, urban planning or regional planning or whatever planning they are doing, there are supposed to be areas of 2-story building, areas of bungalow, areas of 1-story building, and all these things are not observed. If we are to start it now, that means a lot of buildings will go down. Will government be ready to, to maybe pay them back to go and start afresh or something like that?
I think I saw something like that somewhere close to, is it Umuike? I think the fence literally fell and pushed the GP tank in another compound. The GP tank fell on. So literally 3 houses were just destroyed. I think wait, the last heavy rain that we had, 3 houses were just literally, and it was as if I saw it coming because the fence literally started cracking. And then, I talked about it, but it was ignored.
All right, so I don't know. The next story we are looking at, you take it.
Work in progress at Isiagu Junction.
Let him come. Okay.
Comment on that. You see, as a matter of fact, I would want to give credence to our governor. He's doing pretty well, but this is a plea. The contractors should actually be charged.
For it.
Yes, charged in the sense they should be proactive, they should get committed to the job. Because most of this job, good thing we are now entering the dry season now.
Which contractors are you talking about?
I may not really know names, and I don't want to go mention names because but the way the delays and all of that is no longer encouraging. I was telling somebody sincerely that one of the things people would celebrate very well now in the structures the government is putting up, led by Professor Chukuma Chasuludu. By the time these roads are completed, people will not be like, wow, he did do well. But at the moment, too many complaints now because it's taking a long time. People are now suffering, and during the rainy season, it was hell. But it's a good thing. So the governor is doing well. Just that the contractors need to speed up a little bit.
All right, we move on to the first paper for review. That's Nigerian Tribune.
Okay, so in Nigerian Tribune here says Tinubu's victorious, says Supreme Court did justice on merit of law. Court dismisses Atiku Obi's appeal.
All right. Okay, I think that's just one story in front of the Nigerian Tribune. And then I go, can you take it? Court dismisses Atiku Obi's appeals. And it's all congratulatory messages in front of the people.
Messages, and the court has dismissed the cases of Atiku, PDP, Labour Party, and Peter Obi. When Tinubu, when he was sworn in, I knew that there would be difficulty for him to be removed through the court, because since he could find his way to that seat of power, since he could find his way first to victory, to the winning of the election, and he was sworn in, that there will be much difficulty for him to be removed through court. And that is what just happened. In fact, it is a disgrace to us, starting from both at the judiciary, the executive, and to we Nigerians. We don't know I don't know if we can stand the shame in the international body, because there were so many evidence, starting from how the elections were being conducted, the processes that brought him into power, the Chicago University, which was trashed into the bin, and all that. You find out that it is a slap on this country. I don't know the face that the international body
Who
will
slapped
use
you? Who slapped the country? Please, let's look at the next paper. Who actually
Because-
slapped the country?
because
Let's
this is-
I think this is a very big topic for another day. Let's look at the next paper, the Daily the Daily Independent newspaper. That's the next one we are looking at. Let's see stories in front of the Daily Independent. Supreme Court verdict: our electoral jurisprudence, democracy strengthened. That's coming from Tinubu. We have riders there. Our Supreme Court dismisses Atiku Obi's appeals against him, says Chicago State's varsity record not authenticated, sealed. Apex Court has failed Nigeria. Judgment disappointing. That's coming from the PDP. It's a sad day for democracy, LP laments. Okay, I think that's the story we are taking from the Daily Independent. Let's take them, one after the other, even the writers there, and of course the banner headline in front of that story.
I was trying to, when we skipped that on the Tribune, I was happy. I didn't really want to get involved in this, but you see, it's I want to be careful for my use of words, but it's disappointing. It weakens the morale and trust of the people. And as a matter of fact, I tell you, I keep saying it's not about the executive, it's not about Mr. President. What of the legislative? Do you know if the legislative arm is strong enough, the president will be jittery? Well, because there is some kind of pact, some kind of romance. Somebody said something, a senator, and you see how pathetic it was, how people can unashamedly come on air and say things, that Nigerian road is bad, our roads are bad, that the senators deserve the vehicle that they were given so they can manipulate the roads.
And if they take car to their villages, before they come back, the cars will be
You
destroyed.
imagine, and as some of the senators are ex-governors, invariably one-time governor of a state, and they're left and
Even if you're not ex-governor, you came from somewhere. You are a representative for some people,
I just feel there is hope. I don't know how true that is, but I pray that there is hope for Nigeria because somebody said something to me yesterday. Said, "I don't say you've not really done this," and I said, "Sorry to say that. If people can manipulate their way in the country, by the time it gets to my turn, I will find a way to manipulate my way too."
All right, now do we call this because opposition issue, or is it the reality? It's a sad day for democracy, LP laments, and of course, Apex Court has failed Nigeria, judgment disappointing coming from the PDP. What's your take on that?
I wasn't surprised seeing the judgment. As a matter of fact, if I must be very sincere, I expected it. Truth is, you could not have expected otherwise. I mean, like Imandi said, if our president found a way in, taking him out would have been an issue.
Very difficult.
Because from beginning, from the INEC scenario and all of that, if you see the way games were being played on the judicial system, you wouldn't have expected otherwise. So I'm not shocked. So it's
All
not
right,
simple.
let's move on.
Okay, let's look at the Guardian newspaper. It says here, Tinubu laughs last as Supreme Court affirms a victory. Amid prohibition laws, domestic sexual violence thrives nationwide. It says here 70% to 80% of victims are under 15 years. 90% abused by people they know. At least 1 in 10 married women has been the victim of domestic violence. And then we have here varsity students nabbed for killing dismembering girlfriend for ritual. And lastly, we have here federal government made 200 billion naira unapproved payment in 2019. ICANN reveals. So, which one are we starting with?
A lot of stories there. Can we
In the
look at that
garden.
story of the university student in Port Harcourt? Can we take that story?
You know, coming to that,
A lot of comments I've read, where even some elderly people have gone to the social media to advise the younger ones,
Yes.
lamenting the level of killings by young people.
I think I even saw in the newspaper
Yes.
that this girl was actually his ex. He's not like the man. He's like
Whatever government is.
All right.
moral drama, you know, another thing is
I think
parents should have a role to play. Because I could remember there are some items when we were in school, there are some items you come back home with in school, from school rather.
give
Your
account for
parents
in fact,
will
I was
ask you,
crying yesterday. I
"What
was
is-"
saying, if this girl were to be my daughter, how would how would I cry? How would I tell people that
Have you
my
seen that
my
picture? I
daughter
was wondering
died?
what age is
She's
this girl?
she's 20.
20 years.
You see, your child comes home with an item, you won't ask questions. Now, a student of, let's say, between 16, 17, 18 makes money to some point, and you as a parent won't ask, where did the money come from? Where did you work? How did you manage to get the money? You make investigations. And now coming to the girl aspect, you were sent to school. These are the things that we see in schools. Some girls will just go into school innocently and they will be lured into relationships that
There's
will
this
take up their life.
this priest that's so popular on the social media, Father Moore. He was once in Oka. He used to come to ABS then. He was saying that he was trying to tell young people, if you're sent to school, please face your studies.
That is it.
Because you don't need that. When your parents are suffering, to pay your fees or to see you through school.
But it doesn't begin in school.
It doesn't begin in school.
Imani was making a point. Parents have a major role to play. And in addition to what the parents has done or is doing, be self-confident, be content. I tell people, there is nothing I'm a young man, and we know the generation we are in, what young men do, and I have too many of them around me. But you cannot influence me. By virtue of, I understand what the system is, I know the repercussions. Judging it, what is that girl looking for? You won't tell me the girl didn't know that guy is suspicious. What are you telling me?
Okay.
He said, as a matter of fact, when I was with Orient Daily newspaper as an educational reporter, I did a report that made me cry. A student of Unizik, was it 300 or 400 level student, went clubbing, and coincidentally the guys brought her back, bonded, with her eyes blood and some parts of her body taken. She was still breathing, but she was dropped at the commissioner's quarters. By the time I arrived there, I just can't tell but weep. What are you looking for? Even as a young man, what is the pressure about? Everybody wants to. You see men who have lived for years in life, and I want to measure up.
If this is not a decay in moral decadence in the society, what do we call it? Because naturally, young people would like to hang out. Male, female, like these days you have mixed schools. Some of them doesn't care whether you're a boy or you're a girl. They make friends amongst themselves, even when the sex is not involved or whatever. So if it is not moral decadence, what do we call this?
Personally for me, I feel we should trace down to who told the guy that bringing these parts of the body can make him have money. We only stop at, okay, there was a guy who was caught. Who was the guy? This guy, after getting this money, where is he going to? What happened? Do they sell the money? Do they throw the eye into the air? They should bring all of them, then trace down to the roots of this problem. So this can just,
We've gone way down, and it's actually God that will help us. We've gone way down.
All right. I don't know which other stories you can take from the Guardian newspaper before we move on. Which other story?
Well, let's go into that violence, domestic and sexual violence.
Okay. Prohibition laws, domestic violence still thrive nationwide.
Yes. Then I want to pick on a particular one on that victims that are under 15 years and married women 1 out of 10. You know, this domestic and sexual violence is just, it keeps appearing on the dailies. It's either you, by the time you recover from this particular one, another one comes up. By the time you're trying to recover from the shock or from the emotional whatever, another one comes up. I think this law, not only bringing it up, it should be followed. I think some months ago or last month or yes or thereabout here in Anambra State, there was a news where a woman put her baby in a pit toilet and Her Excellency took up the matter. These are the things that once we see, the society should condemn it, act it. The people that are involved or the person involved should face the full wrath of law. That is it, simple. Because especially these people that are being that experiences those below 15 years, that is how their emotions will be traumatized.
I think our
and that is
Commissioner
also
for Women Affairs is really doing a wonderful job in
and
that
also
She's
that
so
is-
She
passionate.
deserves an award.
and also
If you be but she deserves an
and
award.
also
She's excellent.
these are the things that if such things happens to some kind of people, they will be like that they will develop this tough skin to replicate same violence on people coming under them. And some will live with the trauma to the rest of their life. So people have different way that the peculiarity of persons have different way that they carry out their emotions and how they handle situations. So I believe that this law that is being enacted should be, it shouldn't be just read out and swept under the carpet. It should be carried on.
All right, let's move on now. The Punch newspaper, our time is fast spent, it's running very fast. Tinubu triumphs after 171-day battle. Nigerians present wish list to president after Supreme Court victory. Nigerians present wish list to president after Supreme Court victory. Judgment shocking, dashed Nigerians' expectations, says PDP Labour Party. And it's all congratulatory message to the president there. Let's take the next one immediately, the Nation newspaper.
Okay, I think it's okay. We have different stories. Wike says, I will support president again. We have here triumphant Tinubu, and we also have here Alafin, 5 Oyo kingmakers, Sue, Makinde, others. How blue economy will boost GDP by Oyotola.
All right, let's run. I don't know, which of the stories are you looking at?
Let me just
Wike.
a brief stop on Wiki. And why are we
Did
doing
you
that?
see? Did you see his the rider there? What he said? No regrets for my actions.
Okay. Because I was going to actually do some landing on it. It's politics in Nigeria, and people are not ashamed of it. Because I was going to remind him what I've heard him say on air.
We can say lots of things.
Too many
actually.
things. And if it has come to everybody actually plays game when it comes to politics in respect to what they will profit. That's the simple truth. We know there is a man now who is somehow not very cool, agitative, a one-time ex-militant, an ex-militant in the Nigerian Delta, because he's been singing praises and trumpeting Mr. President's name, and it looks like he's not getting the recognition he wanted. Now he's beginning to get pinched and feeling somehow. Until I will keep saying it, those in the political corridor, those the major gladiators begin to think truly about the people. We may never get it right. And as a matter of fact, I even want to suggest, by slight extension, let our politicians prove that they are patriotic enough by having their families stay with us in the nation, so we get to enjoy the benefits and the dividends of what they are bringing democratically. Yes.
Okay, I hope you watched that That video you talked about earlier, about that lawmaker, you watched it very well to the end. Okay, I don't know, which of the stories are you...
Judgment shocking. Dash Nigerians' expectations, says PDP Labour Party. I think it will be, or rather it was shocking to some other people, but to me it wasn't shocking because I saw it coming. That was what I expected. But since it is like this, and it is a very bad, I don't know what to say, on the judiciary aspect. I believe,
You seem to be in the opposition. You seem to be in the opposition.
So we just hope or pray that Nigeria will be better. Let's just pray, because I know that this is a democracy that will stay for the next 4 years, and we believe that God will give us
next 4 years. Did you see what God? Did you see what God just said yesterday?
I know that
There's so much happening. And people are growing thick skin. People are growing thick skin.
and this is the challenges that will make us go back to this ritual killing and all that. It is wait, no.
Make people
To make people go into that, which is very wrong at that. Well, you know, if the basic amenities or the basic social amenities are being provided with Nigerians will be comfortable.
That's true.
Like the water, the good roads, education, job opportunities, different level playground to show your talents and entrepreneurship. You find out that people won't complain of hardship. So, but when this
Let's live in Nigeria.
I'm trying to say if things being equal and all these social amenities are being provided, I get him. Okay, let's use Anambra State as a case study. You find out that the poverty rate in Anambra State is low compared to other states, because the governor in some certain area is trying to make life easier for the residents of Anambrarians. So if these modalities should be taken, and at the level that the federal government should also take up the same thing, you find out that it will be a very comfortable place for us all.
All right, let's keep painting the picture of the new Nigeria that we want to see someday.
The renewed hope.
All right, I don't know, this Oyetola's proposal that blue economy will help to boost GDP. Is it also going to help in the rise, exchange rate reduction in the prices of goods and services? I don't know if it's going to go beyond that.
There are too many things that have actually been proposed that would have seemingly bettered the economy of Nigeria. But the truth is, I'm not going to lie, because I am a person who is optimistic. I believe that one day things will get right. But see, for proposals, no matter how good it is colored for the betterment of the Nigerian economy, there is an injection of political interest in it. So, truth, despite the proposal, despite how much they've colored it, except it is followed through the right process, we may still not get to that place we want to get. Telling you, we are on air. But imagine when it is like this, with people like us who has been able to enter one or two sectors, how much more those who are not enlightened? I'm telling you, people's hope are being battered, and we just need to just keep managing it and mending it and progressing, believing that we'll get to that place we want to get.
All right, do you have any more questions before we wrap up? Okay, that's the more treat can take what we have on the press review this morning. We'd like to thank you so much, gentlemen, Arinze Anyebunam and Emmanuel.
Anna.
Anebun, I'm sorry, and Emandi Ezenago. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and that's it on the press review. We have more on Good Morning Anambra Show. Please don't go anywhere.